We've had a lot of success on Instagram lately, and as part of that, we've gotten a lot of questions about the quality of the videos that we shoot. A lot of people are asking us, like, this looked really good. Was it shot on a phone? Or is this a GoPro? How are you getting this good quality? And I'm here to answer all of those questions and talk about a new product that we've had up on the website for just a couple of weeks now, and show you how we're doing our Instagram footage and how we're getting that good quality. So first things first, Instagram as a platform has shifted heavily towards video. Everybody's probably familiar with that. That's been going on for a few years. Very recently, they have started to collapse some of their products together. So they used to have an IGTV and they had something called Reels, which was kind of their answer to TikTok's success. And then they had Instagram video, which were regular posts, but were video content. And they've kind of tried to merge some of those different strategies and products together. I don't know how successful all of it's been, but what we have noticed is they're heavily pushing the Reels and video format. So they've collapsed IGTV into Reels. I don't even know if they call it Reels anymore. It is Reels, it's the Reels product, but they're heavily promoting that content. And so a few months ago, we here at The Wannabes switched over to Reels format as our primary way of posting to Instagram. And it took a little while for us to get traction in the Reels format, but very recently we've had kind of an explosion of success around it. And who knows what the algorithms do, right? We've kind of poo-pooed on the algorithms in the past when we haven't been doing very well. Now that we're doing well, like, I don't want to change that tune. I still think the algorithms are annoying. I still really don't have a very good sense for what works and what doesn't, even though, like, we should have those metrics in our posts. But you can post two, like, almost identical hill climbs back to back, and one will get 30,000 views and one will get 2,000 views, and I couldn't tell you why. So there's always a piece of sort of luck and randomness to it, I think. But one of the things that I think has helped us definitely, and I'm basing this off of user comments and not just the algorithm, is we've gotten really good at shooting vertical video for Instagram for that full screen, but tall, vertical, full screen cell phone view. And the reason that we've been able to do that is because of this little doohickey. So this is a 90-degree adapter that lets you turn your GoPro on your side. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, with the Hero 9 and 10, you can shoot in 4K. Now, 4K is really high quality for a cell phone screen. It's a fairly small footprint, and it's a lot of pixels to pack into that. And so you can get a really crisp, clear, full screen image in 4K. The problem is, for the Reels vertical format, what most people do is they shoot with their GoPro horizontally like this. You get your widescreen format, and then you crop down the vertical piece from, whatever interesting section of your video that you want. Now, when you crop it vertically, you end up changing the aspect ratio of that footage and you lose that 4K effect. So now you've got a full screen segment that's only a fraction of your 4K. It's maybe a third or so of the screen, I think, of your total widescreen, right? You've cropped down to the middle of that and you've made that the full screen. Obviously, there's not as many pixels, there's not as much quality in that cropping effect. And so that's what most people do, and that's most of the GoPro footage that people see on Instagram. With GoPros, and I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but if you turn the GoPro on its side or if you turn the GoPro upside down before you start recording, the GoPro will actually rotate the way that it's oriented. So you can turn it on its side and it'll flip around. So what we actually do is we want to shoot the camera with the footage like this. So we get that full screen vertical format. And what that gives us is we get the full 4K effect of the full lens, but we get it this way instead of this way, right? We turn it this way, it's natively about the right size for Instagram Reels. It's about the full screen of a cell phone. And it's really cool because you can get the full 4K, so you get all those pixels packed in there, you get that full quality, and you don't have to do any editing to the footage. So there's no cropping or cutting or anything like that. You cut the segment that you want, the clips that you want, right? But you don't have to do anything with the format. You just crop it out of the video, the piece that you want, the action shot, whatever, and you post it on Instagram in the Reel format and you're good to go. So how do you accomplish that with the chin mounts that we have? Obviously, our chin mounts are designed, like most mounts, to horizontally mount the camera, right? So it would typically sit somewhere like that, something like that, right? Now, what the 90-degree adapter does is it's gonna let you turn your camera on its side. So you can see how that looks. So it's gonna sit inside the forks of the GoPro mounts that we make, and it's going to reorient the forks to the side. And then what you can do is you take your GoPro and you mount it in the new reoriented forks of the adapter, and voila. You now have your camera at a 90-degree angle, shooting native 4K vertical footage that's perfect for TikTok posts, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. God, there's so many of these shits. Now, a couple of notes about how to do this right and get the right kind of angle. The first time I did this, I made a couple of mistakes. One When we run the GoPro vertically, we typically run with like widescreen or something like that in the settings because we want that really wide perspective to capture as much as possible. Well, what I noticed is the fisheye lensing effect of the GoPro lens actually happens at the edges. And so when you don't notice it as much when you're running it like that widescreen horizontal format. When you turn that though, it gets really weird because somewhere, so here's your screen, right? The top maybe quarter-ish or 15% on and the bottom have that stretched out lensing effect of the fisheye. And it gets really weird. It makes subjects in your video look really stretched and tall, and it just totally fucks up the footage. So that was the first mistake. The other mistake I made is I wasn't quite sure like how far back to put it, you know, what kind of a tilt back angle. I initially thought that having it a little bit more straight up would make sense because I was thinking, okay, we've got this like vertical perspective, right? So we have all this, and I was thinking it's gonna hit the handlebars, it's gonna have the horizon in it, it's gonna be perfect if it's like vertical, right? Totally wrong. What I actually found was you actually still want to level the top of the camera with the eye port of the helmet because you're gonna have a similar effect to when you run it horizontally. When you get up in attack position, you tip your helmet forward, the camera is actually tipped quite a bit down at the ground. And if you don't tip it back to match that viewport angle, you're gonna have exactly the same problems as when you run it horizontal, and you're gonna see nothing but the ground and your handlebars, and it's ultimately not that interesting a video. So you're actually gonna set it up just like you would if it was horizontal in terms of tilt back angle and all that. Back to the widescreen format, what I forgot to say is the solution to that fisheye lensing at the top and bottom, you actually want to set it in narrow mode. It's the smallest framing that the GoPro settings have, but it gets rid of all that fisheye perspective. And so you get a little bit less in camera. So instead of this, maybe you're down to here, let's say, but there's no fisheye effect. And so you get better depth perception and you get rid of that effect where it's like stretching all the subjects that show up in your video, making them look like really tall aliens or something, unless they are tall aliens, and then I can't help you. In terms of like how far side to side, so one of the things I've noticed is like if you hit a branch or something, the camera can get knocked like that. And then you're looking straight on, right? Your camera's filming whatever's happening over here. So I periodically check. You want this basically to be flat or even just like a tiny bit in because it's slightly off to the side, not enough so that you notice, but when you're pointing your face at like a subject, let's say your buddy's over there, he's gonna ride a cool rock. I've done exactly this. And so you look over there, but because like you look with your eyes right here, let's say, but because the camera is like off to the side just slightly, the action's happening like halfway on film. So you do have to sort of, you remember, you're a photographer, you're a videographer, you've got to think a little bit about, you know, how you're framing up your shots and what's happening and what you're actually looking at versus what the camera is actually looking at. The first few times I ran it this way, helmet on my head, right, I would actually hold the camera with my hand to like direct and remind myself like, okay, there's what it's seeing, got it. There's one other feature that I want to show you of these 90-degree adapters. It's kind of cool. So the kind that we supply are a premium part, and they've actually got this tripod mounting screw. So this is for, I don't know what size it is, but it's the standard like camera tripod. You can actually mount that on a tripod. So now you can see how you can mount GoPro on a tripod. No, we're not the first people to invent this. There's been tripod adapters out for GoPros for a long time. But this is the first device that we're aware of that, so obviously this looks a little bit crooked. That's super easy to solve. So you can use the tripod's adapter to get your camera sideways like that, or if you want it to be vertical, you know, you have options for doing it that way too. You can turn it around. So you can get your camera to be straight up on the tripod using that adapter, which is kind of cool. It makes it like a really sort of multi-purpose device. You can shoot the vertical footage for your, you know, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, YouTube Shorts. You can also throw it on as a tripod adapter if that's something that you want to do. If you want to shoot, I don't know, stills, or you're in your own studio or whatever. So it's kind of a cool part. Definitely check those out. Check out some of the footage. We're going to throw up a few clips of some of the vertical shots that we've taken recently using the 90-degree adapter. Because it's worked so well for social media, we call it the influencer. We kind of had fun with that. But check it out, links in the description. Of course, guys, we always appreciate a like and subscribe. We hope to see you next time. We've got really cool podcasts going on. We've got, we've had Graham Jarvis, we've had Cody Webb, we've had Cooper Abbott, and we've had some other folks, and we're gonna have more of those guests coming up, and you don't wanna miss those episodes. So subscribe and hit the notification bell. You definitely don't wanna miss those. And of course, we've got other cool content out about how to, you know, do some work on your dirt bike. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.